From the willfully ignorant, the knowledge you won't get none, but don't get it twisted, I too was dumb and then some.
This is the story of a man who created a comic and disrupting the whole land. And though he looks BIPOC in photographs, he's got an absolutely tranquil peace of mind. And that guy would be Eric July, aka YoungRippa 59, or YoungRippa, however you want to say, if you don't want to add the numbers. He is also the front man of this awesome music group Backwordz with a Z, and he is also the newfound founder, owner, and writer of RippaVerse Comics, aka RippaVerse, hopefully RippaVerse Publishing, I guess. But man, this Eric is just the best. This nigga is crazy. I found him back in like the end of 2019 because of, all the race stuff that was going on. I was just on YouTube. There's a lot of, stuff out there that you find and people just discussing stuff. And so me and my girl would be watching videos, and I ended up coming across this guy, and this guy was the best. He was talking about everything from the crazy BLM shit that was going on. He was talking about all the stuff with the virus that we couldn't talk about, the vaccine that we couldn't talk about. He's one of the few that's still unvaccinated. He got married, and he would talk about just the comic industry and like the movie industry dealing with all these MCU movies and all these, random just things that were going on in the comic book industry that were just insane that no one really believed and wanted to talk about. Like, and it's just kind of interesting. Like, oh yeah, did you know that they would try to make like Batman gay, or like, Superboy gay, or like they were trying to add all these like random trans superheroes and stuff. And it's just like, I guess it's not a big deal, but at the same time, it's kind of weird. I mean, this guy did like so much in the past like 2 years, and I just followed him, and it was great. Watched some of his old stuff, and then I found out, just more about him and his music and everything. I was like, this guy is just awesome. Like, he was just I totally aspired to be like this guy. He's totally just the best, right? And then I find out that he has this comic book on the back burner, and I was like, what? Like, he's totally working on this whole like comic book thing and like comic book company. Like, that's awesome. Like, making his own characters, that's freaking crazy. You have all this inclusion and shit, and people like making everything racial and making everything black and making everything this, no more whites or whatever. And it's like, okay, here comes this guy making his own comic with like black characters, some white characters, whatever. It's his own thing. And that's amazing, right? Like, I'm no offense, but that is fantastic. And he's totally going through a lot of shit right now because of that. And it's insane. Again, given the 2 years we went through, what happened to BLM? What happened to Black Lives Matter? All of a sudden, this black guy who's like, this guy's black, right? Eric D. July, that nigga's dark. I mean, you look at pictures of, what's his name? Wesley Snipes, he just turned 60 or whatever, and that fool, like, he's dark too, but he's like lighting up a bit. Eric is like super dark, But I'm just saying, it's just kind of crazy that he's going through all this, and people are kind of being racist to him and hateful to him, and it's why he's made a comic book. It's just a comic book. Is it really that much of a threat? You really think it's that good? Like, I was like, hey, I'm just saying. But I did buy my 2 issues. I got my cover A and B that he's selling right now. He's pre-ordering. I mean, the guy's literally he's passed almost $3.5 million in pre-sales. Like, I'm so proud of this man. Like, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. But I'm just going to take you on a little ride real quick and just kind of share with you what's going on and show you through his words actually what's going on. And this is Eric July, and welcome to the RippaVerse.
The RippaVerse is the result of a comic book lifer that wanted to be a part of the solution instead of always griping about the problem. Now, don't get me wrong, this was always a part of my aspirations. However, the current climate certainly sped things up. You've watched some of your favorite comic book characters be bastardized to the point to where they're completely unrecognizable. And of course, these mega corporations that control these properties don't exactly make it easy for you to get in and understand what's canon. So maybe it's time for something new. ISOM issue number 1 is the first book released through RippaVerse Publishing, which makes it extremely significant. Though this is ISOM's self-titled book, it also serves as a launching pad for our entire universe. This 96-pager was written by myself, Eric July. The pencil and ink work was done by the great Cliff Richards, and the color work was done by Gabe El Taib. Two comic book veterans. This book is part one of the ill-advised arc, and it follows Avery Silman, who lives right outside of Flores Park, Texas, the place where he was born and raised. Now, Avery is what is known as an accept, which is what common folk in this area call special people. Years ago, shortly after he got his abilities, Avery decided to become a hero of sorts and adopted the moniker Isom. But a certain event had him come to the realization that this life wasn't for him. So now he lives on his own ranch outside of the big city. We are a comic book company first and foremost that will never be forgotten no matter how big this venture gets. And we are guided by a set of principles known as the RippaVerse ethic. You will find this on a page in every single book that we release, and it's a set of standards that we certainly want you to hold us to. There are three main things that we will always emphasize. Number one, respect the customer. We aren't owed your dollar, but we love to have you as longtime supporters. It's going to be up to us to keep you interested and invested. Our second point of emphasis is canon and continuity. This is an ever-expanding universe. There's going to be many of characters that will be introduced, but when you buy a book from us, you own a piece of history. It matters. These events will not be erased by way of time travel or some multiversal aspect. And number three, a comprehensive timeline. No matter when you jump into this space, we want to make it easy for you to get caught up on some characters that you're interested in, so we're going to keep the reboots to a minimum. Now don't worry, we know that picking up the pieces is part of the fun, so we're not going to exactly hold your hand.
This has been quite remarkable, man. Look at this. Look at this. 3 million. Oh, man, we have 34,000 or over 34,000 total purchases and over 3 million. Oh, man, in terms of just the revenue, this has been unbelievable. And I thank you all so much for the continued support. Everybody that's been covering this, even the haters, which we'll be going through today. I appreciate you.
The next morning.
And just to show you that we mean business.
So as you can see right here, I'm in my PayPal. That is a lot of money. This is, of course, how much that we have on hold. We have this available. This is on hold, meaning that I can get access to this right now. I can get it out there, no problem. This right here, I can't touch it. Of course, they went back to this right here. And they, even though I had already sent this, of course, you can see that they're saying proof of fulfillment. That's not what they need. Even though I've already given them that information, that's not what it is that they need. This basically boils down to is they don't want to give me access to the money, and they don't want to do what they need to do to just say, hey, you're not swindling your customers. Your customers know this is a pre-order campaign. They know when the items are going to ship. It is on the website before they actually purchase. It's built into our policy as well. We've sent email updates. I'm a public figure. There's no swindling going on here.
Day 2.
I'm going to show you something that's going to shock you. You see, there was that one time or multiple videos that I've done on this topic, and I showed you my PayPal balance, and it said I could access it, though technically I couldn't. If I tried to transfer it, I could not get the money out at all. It would go, an error message would come up, even if they were saying it was available to me. But now you are seeing that almost 1.3 million, $1.285 million are tied up in PayPal, and they're all on hold. But it's way worse than that. I have access to zero of it. So even those of you that confirmed your receipt, which PayPal says if you do that, vendor gets the money regardless. PayPal still hasn't. I know you wanted to use them as a processor. Hold on. I know you wanted to use them as a processor. A lot of it was for international reasons. A lot of that was tied up in the fact that, well, they have a presence. We were not using PayPal just for the sake of using PayPal. No, they had a presence. They have a presence everywhere, more so internationally. And a very significant portion of that monies is coming from people that are not in the U.S. We're looking for alternatives to that right now. You can still use the other processors, though, if you are in various areas, especially in America. But we'll look for those alternatives for you guys. As you see, 1.285, have access to none of it. When I'm about to read you what they sent me, and this was after the last call that I had with them today. They, of course, reiterated this in their message center. I'm going to show you what they said, and this will prove exactly what's going on here. This is borderline criminal, or we might as well flat out call it that. All you idiots who insisted, well, they just do this all the time. It's because of the pre-sales and then they move the post to, well, once you deliver it, you'll still get your money. It had nothing to do with any of that. They're holding that money because it benefits them. And I got the receipts right here that's going to further prove that without them really explicitly stating it. During a recent review, this is what they sent to me, July LLC. During a recent review, we determined that there may be a high level of risk associated with your PayPal account and are going to apply a reserve. So it's not even a standard hold. They're calling it a reserve to your account beginning today, 7/27/2022. The reserve is money that we set aside in your PayPal account to cover losses due to chargebacks, claims, or payment reversals. If you fail to cover these expenses, the monies in the reserve still belong to you, but are not available for the period of time which they are held. Doesn't matter if you confirm the receipt. And this is the true part here, which is the hilarious part. Because of how long this is, and you'll see here in a little bit, even after I already ship you the items, I will still have not got paid for that. I will still have not gotten possession of your money because of when we're sending it going into the latter half of August, going into September. I get it. I've been called all the names in the books. I mean, hard. I'm telling you, not even A's. They don't even give me the luxury of just saying that. Putting the A at the end. Hard ERs. Dropping in bombs, calling me out my name, all kinds of stuff. Everything seems to be geared around somehow that this black man is being used, or all of this sort of stuff, because they're watching their stupid arguments be diffused in real time. Now, we always knew they were chicken crap. We always knew they were full of crap. Even when they go and parade and try to present themselves as if they have the moral high ground. Racism is so bad. Well, here comes a guy who's black, and then you got all these things to say about him that are very negative, and you are applying a set of traits and attributes to him only because of his color. By textbook definition, that is racism. Now, I'd be like, whatever. If you were one of them cats that was open about it, but the fact that out of the other side of your mouth, you sit up and parade around talking about representation and diversity and inclusivity and all this racism is bad until you saw a man that had just a slightly different political position than you did something great. Seriously, instead, you just called him racist. You called him homophobic, transphobic, misogynistic, and you left a big crater in his market. And all I did was say, this land right here is useful. I just presented people with something, an option that was well polished. We worked very hard, and this is the result. And that's all I did. And it got me called all these weird names. Doubters done came out the woodwork. You got fools that's just irate, which is the silliest thing that I could ever imagine. Irate that I am doing this and people wouldn't go support their work. If that is you as a creator, you're not actually a creator.
Welcome to the RippaVerse.
To do what we did in just a day has been something that I just obviously did not anticipate. So the obvious is giving everybody a thanks. My supporters, and especially these supporters, because we blend a lot of our communities together. A lot of folks that watch me also watch some other creatives that have been very supportive of this project and what it is that we're doing with the RippaVerse. So from everybody from the Geeks and Gamers team to, obviously Friday Night Tights team, Neurotic, as everybody that rocks with Friday Night Tights, Salty Cracker, everybody from the Blaze, of course, that has supported that, Comicsgate, everybody.
And they see kind of how we, of course, took some of the visual of what you see out of crowdfunds that have been on Indiegogo, that have been on Kickstarter and whatnot. And I've always said that I just wanted to take the transparency from that. You see the numbers rise, you see how many people purchase what, but I didn't want to do the crowdfund. And just to show you guys kind of what we're dealing with and how we're able to get the items out prior to the close of the actual campaign, just as it's ending, because most of the product is already here. That's the investment. That was part of the investment. So as you see right here, as we're in our warehouse, we have all of these posters, you know what I'm saying, that are here. We even put some over here on our rack. We already have, looking down at here, concept art book. You see we have a bunch of those. We're going to be bagging and boarding these concept art books for you guys that got in on that. The cards, all of the cards are right here. So we've already had most of the items. Next week or so, we'll have the first batch of the actual books for cover A and B. So we've already crossed that bridge. We've already invested this. We have a bunch of posters here, even extra posters. I should not sell out. We got some more posters there. I should not sell out of all of these damn posters, but if I do, it'll be a good problem to have. So, and while I personally value liberty, we're not going to beat you over the head with on-the-nose current politics and current narratives that will completely contradict what it is that we're trying to do here. So whether you're into our main character in our first book, Isum, or you're into Yaira, or you're interested in all of them, will certainly have you as a customer. Your ethnic background or genetic makeup is wholly irrelevant to us.
Two years. See, after 2 years, this is where we're at. After 2 years, you have people just like hating on this guy, and he's just doing everything himself. He's been saving up money, doing things, making moves, and it's just like people are just hating. And it's like, why? Like, what did he do to you besides give people something of his own? Like, I don't understand, like he didn't do, like, and that's still not doing anything to you. He just gave you something. Just because you don't want it doesn't mean it's bad, like, I don't know. It's pretty crazy. And I feel for him. I totally respect everything that he's doing and everything that, everyone that he works with, everyone that he pretty much thanked to, like, I mean, all the Geeks and Gamers guys, everyone from that supports Friday Night Tights and is with Friday Night Tights, like all those guys, they all, they all just did, like, they've all been doing anime conventions and Comic-Con conventions recently, and like getting panels and being able to talk to fans and stuff. So hopefully, like, the entertainment industry just gets better, because it's not that, that's not supremacy and that's not like gatekeeping or anything. That's just like, hey, this is what the art is. Like, this is what all this is, like, I don't understand why you would change someone's art for the sake of the today. Like, just make your own art, and you know what, if people don't like it, maybe it's not as bad as you think it is today, or maybe people just don't really care as much as you think they do today, but I don't know. It's wild, but this video is mainly just to give some praise for Eric July. You know, that he's got a lot of haters out there, and plus PayPal's on him and like holding money from PayPal. Luckily, I use my own card on the website of RippaVerse.com. You know, so go ahead and check it out. He's got the comics on there and the merch and all that stuff. Super awesome. I mean, I'm so thrilled. But don't use PayPal. So use any other method of payment except PayPal. Just do not use PayPal, at least for the time being, or at least until whatever issues get resolved. But that's what happens, I guess, when you're a comic book company of all things you just you start coming up on them stonks, as he would say, and it's just they're like, what? How is this black man he's stealing all the money? And it's like, nah, this is actual well-earned and deserved and given money. So I hope PayPal just, you know, again, pulls up their pants from whoever's giving them the runaround and just, you know, goes and gives Eric back the money instead of like frolicking in it. But yeah, this has been Ghost in the Craig. Thank you so much for tuning in, and you know, Eric, wish you the absolute best. I definitely will hit a Backwordz show because, you know, definitely will support that end when you get there, when you get back there. But until then, I can't wait till my copies come in, and I'll definitely do a video to show them to you guys. And yeah. So yeah, this has been Ghost and Craig. Thank you so much again. You guys have a fantastic rest of your week. And remember, check out the RippaVerse because it's something new. Peace.
Sit back and let Twitter hit stars, not understanding that you got John syndrome. They have no desire to save you. It's not because the folks serving us. It's not because we don't have the right people in office. It's not because a certain bracket is taxed to line list. It's not because y'all folks don't understand the process. Yo, this is all just a game, bro. Y'all support your brownies and it works well, did it though? Follow the millions to his campaign. Destroy one of the crowd till they endorse the same thing. Then you support the lesser of the evil bankers, but it just repeats and we revisit this 4 years later. The state itself is based on theft that can't be fixed. So realize you own yourself and no one else.